Hey guys, Kill Stokes here. We are looking at Bitcoin, and there's going to be a lot to unpack in this video. Now, as promised, I want to give you a look at the technicals, but it's also only right that I kind of remind you about the fundamental and the overall situation that the crypto market is in, because that is the premise for what we're going to look at technically. Now, I'll try to give you as much as I can of the bullet points, but if you haven't done so already, make sure you go back and listen to Trading Coach Podcast, episode 995. It's the most recent one I did. It explains the whole story of what's happening with Bitcoin, why it's happening, and what to look forward to in the future. But just kind of the cliff notes of that, Bitcoin and many other currencies, cryptocurrencies, have had a massive plunge to end last week. The plunge was actually caused by something that happened 20 plus years ago. There was an exchange, one of the biggest exchanges in the world, that had money or excuse me, Bitcoins stolen from them. They ended up, this was back in 2011. In 2014, they ended up going bankrupt. And just now in 2024, the repayment process has started happening. The repayment process is, basically refunding a portion of the coins that were stolen to the customers. I think about like 15% or something like that. So what that means is that a lot of traders or a lot of people are getting access to Bitcoins now that they previously thought were lost forever. And like anyone, kind of like finding money in the back of a pair of jeans that you haven't worn in a long time, you're basically cashing out. And this has caused a massive liquidation of Bitcoins in the market. In fact, I think it was between Thursday and Friday, there was about $600 million worth of liquidated Bitcoin, with about 540 million of those dollars being from people who were in long positions. So that tells you a lot about the market. There was some stuff with Germany as well, and pirated art in Germany selling Bitcoin too, but that's kind of a small ripple in the bigger effect. So I bring that up because, I guess the conclusion that we came to is, first and foremost, you have to decide if you value Bitcoin or cryptos in general. I am personally not a fan of Bitcoin. I'm personally not a fan of cryptocurrencies. I don't want to get into why that is. I have nothing against them, just not my cup of tea. So what I'm about to tell you is for people who value Bitcoin or value whatever other coin you're looking at and are looking to buy, where are the best places to buy? So bigger picture, and I spoke about this in a few Trading Coach podcast episodes earlier. I forget the numbers. I want to say like 923 and 963. But there are two things that are positive for Bitcoin right now. And believe it or not, this repayment is actually the third. The one thing was the spot Bitcoin exchange that happened in January. This is a much safer alternative to trade Bitcoin. It's gonna gain the interest of a lot of casual investors, a lot of investors that aren't as risky, and a lot of investors that just haven't had the opportunity to buy Bitcoin. Maybe they're priced out or something like that. That's one positive. Another positive was the halving that happened back in April. So historically, after a Bitcoin halving, we see about 12 to 18 months of positive reaction. So, bullish action. I'm not saying it happens right away, but kind of in general during that period, we see bullish moves. And that 12 to 18 month period should put us into midway through 2025. So you got that happening. Third, although this is a negative, this whole repayment thing, and everyone's selling their Bitcoin that they thought was lost forever, it can actually be a positive because the market knew this was going to happen. This wasn't a surprise. It was kind of like a dark cloud that covered the big scheme of Bitcoin. So people were kind of waiting for this, and whether they drew to the conclusions that the sell-off was going to be this big, I don't know. Again, I don't follow crypto that closely, but I would assume from my investor brain that they would. So the fact that we're getting this big negative cloud that would cause us to be cautious beforehand, hence a little bit of the consolidation that's happened up here, once we get it out the way, that opens up the door into clearer skies, I guess you can say, for lack of a better term. So here's the thing, though. These repayments are going to continue to happen through July, if I'm not mistaken. So, we're going to see, it's quite possible that we see more and more people selling. So from an investor's perspective, the question that I want to ask myself is, okay, what are the levels that I'm interested in? Again, this is assuming you're bullish Bitcoin and you're looking to invest. What are the levels that I'm interested in, right? So we had a break. I'm on the weekly chart. We had a break and close below this level, which from a technical perspective, lower low, lower close allows me to predict that price is likely to continue lower. There are three levels that stand out to me from a technical level, two levels that I would be interested in. One is going to be the small level right here, right? The pregnant pause before this high momentum bullish candle. Typically, in your technical analysis, this is a good level, although I don't think there's enough here to cause a reaction. The levels that I would be interested in are one, the level right below it, right in this range here. And then two, this level here. We have a few things happening here. Not only do we have key levels of structure, we can look left, structure leaves clues. The past leaves us clues as well. I drew over this, but this little bit matters most, but mainly it's the kind of the bottom of this range before the breakout. We can also look at Fibonacci's, right? If I take a Fibonacci retracement from my swing low right here to my swing high, so the last impulsive move that we had from here to here, oops, sorry, I'm going to do an arrow here from here to here, we're going to see that we also have a key level here, right? We have a range between a 50% and a 618, which is always a key level. And right here, we have a 786. Now, in general, the 786 really isn't too important to me in my technical analysis, but what brings it a little more power here is one, it lines up with the key level of structure, but two, if we look at the last time Bitcoin put in a similar formation, right, this little consolidation pattern with a break of the base, right, kind of the same thing here, this consolidation pattern with the break of the base. If we look at what Bitcoin did after this past move that happened in what, 2022, I think it was 21, 22. Yep. And where we fell off to, we fell off right to a 786 Fibonacci retracement zone before we eventually bottomed out and started making our way back up. So if we were to see a similar move, and again, when the market's moving harmonically, we see similar moves. We see similar moves because the market is driven off of crowd behavioral and psychological patterns. And as human beings, we're pretty predictable. That's the whole premise of technical analysis. If we were to see a similar move, that 786 retracement this time of this previous swing is going to bring us back down to this level, and that will be quite a bargain. That's a steep way down. I drew this a few times in saying, man, there's no way it can fall that far. But in my experience with crypto, especially Bitcoin, the gift and the curse is that you get some massive rallies, but you also get some massive retracements. So if you are someone that's looking to invest, pay attention to these key levels, potentially look for buys at both, meaning have an idea of what type of position you want to invest, maybe invest half right here, the other half here, a third right here, 2/3 down here, right? However you want to break it up, and that should be in your investment plan. But these are two levels to pay attention to. Now, I would love to continue this discussion in the comment section below. Again, I am not a crypto expert. I am not a Bitcoin expert at all. I am an investor, so I know how to look at things from an investor's perspective, but I am in no way like a genius and an expert on the ins and outs of Bitcoin or any crypto to that matter. So if you have any other information that you'd like to share, if you have any opinions that you'd like to share, let's start the discussion below in the comment section. The last video I did talking about Nike, we got some really, really good information. And that's the power of having a community of traders, right? Where everyone chimes in. And, for the most part, it was good comments and we learned some things. And whenever we learn some things, that can help us in our investment outlook. So comment below, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff that you're supposed to do anyway. I wish you guys a great week of trading. And until next time, plan your trade, trade your plan. Take care.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain, I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints, money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague, we all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name, all our insecurities are on display.